Welcome to Too Real for TV Season 1, Episode 10. Today, we're diving into a problem that is, well, almost too real. It's that gut-wrenching moment when the pet you've loved for years and the partner you see your future with just can't be in the same room. It's a clash between deep, unconditional love and a very, very real physical problem. And if you want more explainers like this, hey, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. All right, let's just jump right in. We're starting with the heart of it, a quote from an online forum that just perfectly captures the dilemma. This isn't some hypothetical debate. It's a painful ultimatum. Choose me or the cats. And no matter which way you lean, it feels like you're betraying someone you love. And here's where it gets really, really tough. You're looking at a clash of timelines. On one side, you have a 13-year bond. That's more than a decade of companionship, of being there through everything. On the other, a year-and-a-half relationship that's serious enough for an engagement. This isn't just about counting the years. It's about two completely different, but incredibly powerful emotional histories colliding. And that brings us right to the core of this whole crisis, the relationship ultimatum. This isn't just a logistical problem to solve, you know? It's an emotional bomb that forces you to ask a question you never wanted to ask. Who or what is really part of my family? Now, here's the part that makes this whole thing so complicated. The backstory is absolutely crucial. The fiancé knew about the four cats for over a year before he proposed. He even talked about them all living together in a new house. So the sudden switch from let's all move in together to it's me or them, well, that's just jarring. It makes you wonder what really changed. So you gotta ask, right? Is this really just about sneezing and itchy eyes? Or is there something much, much deeper going on here? See, for so many people, that bond with a pet isn't just some casual thing. It's completely woven into the fabric of who they are. It represents safety. It represents history. It represents their own personal dreams. Because that's the thing. For the pet owner, this feels like a dream is at stake. The choice isn't just animal versus person. It feels like you're being asked to cut off a fundamental part of yourself, a piece of your own life story. And this quote from The Guardian just nails it. A partner has to recognize the loss here isn't just the pet, it's the loss of a dream. Giving up an animal, especially when you've rescued or raised from a kitten, can feel like you're giving up on a deeply held value, a promise you made to yourself. Just think about it, you know? A pet can be so many things. It can be your last living link to your childhood home. It can be a source of comfort when everything else feels unsafe. For some, it's about fulfilling that lifelong dream of rescuing an animal in need. It can even be a symbol that you finally made it, that you're stable enough to care for another living thing. So when someone asks you to give that up, it can sound like they're asking you to erase a part of who you are. Okay, but let's be fair, we absolutely have to look at the other side of this coin, because we can't ignore it. An allergy isn't a choice. It's not a preference. It's a very real physical and involuntary reaction. For the partner who's suffering, the misery is real. So let's get into the science of it. So here's a fun fact that's not so fun if you have allergies. Most people think they're allergic to cat fur, right? But that's not actually it. The real culprit is this microscopic protein. It's called FeLD1, and it's found in a cat's saliva and skin glands. When they groom themselves, it gets on their fur, it flakes off as dander, and then it's just everywhere. And the reactions, we're not just talking about a little bit of sneezing. It can be constant, watery, itchy eyes, a nose that never stops running, skin rashes, and for some people, it can even trigger a serious asthma attack. This isn't something you can just get over or toughen up about. It's a legitimate health issue. So, what do? I mean, you've got this deeply valid emotional bond on one side and this deeply valid physical ailment on the other. Does it mean you're at a total dead end? Is it a zero-sum game where somebody has to lose everything? Or is there maybe a third option? A path where everyone can coexist? Well, the good news is experts believe that coexistence is often totally possible. Now, it's going to take real commitment and hard work from both people, but there are absolutely concrete, practical steps you can take to make your home a place where everyone, human and cat, can actually breathe easier. All right, so the Humane World for Animals lays out this really clear 5-step game plan. Number 1, create an allergy-free zone. The bedroom is usually the best bet. It becomes a strict no pets allowed area. 2, invest in good HEPA air cleaners. 3, you gotta bathe the cat once a week if you can with the right shampoo. 4, clean, like clean all the time and clean thoroughly. And finally, number 5, get rid of what they call dander traps, things like heavy carpets and cloth curtains where allergens just love to hang out. And look, a huge piece of this strategy is technology. You can vacuum and dust all day, but you can't wipe microscopic allergens out of the air. That's where HEPA filters come in. These things are literally designed to trap those tiny, invisible dander particles that are just floating around, pulling them out of the air before they can cause a reaction. And you can see here there are tons of options out there. It's a whole market. Based on expert reviews, you've got different purifiers for every kind of situation. Big, powerful ones for large rooms, smaller ones for tight spaces. The main thing you're looking for is that true HEPA filter. That's the key. But okay, a super clean house with great air is just one part of it. The solutions go deeper than that. Managing the environment is critical, for sure, but we also have to look at medical help and, probably most importantly, a huge shift in how the couple talks about the problem in the first place. You know, your best friend in this fight might actually be an allergist. They have an entire arsenal of tools. You've got over-the-counter stuff for quick relief, sure, but then there are things like immunotherapy, allergy shots, which can actually, over time, retrain your body's immune system to not freak out so much. It is a long-term commitment, but for some people, it's a total game changer. And this right here, this is the real takeaway. The problem was never really the cats or the allergy. It was the ultimatum. The second you can change the conversation from "it's me" or "the cats" to "okay, how can we solve this together?" everything changes. The conflict stops being a battle and it becomes a shared project. And that's a real test of a partnership. And if this whole situation sounds painfully familiar, well, you are definitely not alone. A poll found that a full 60%, 60, of married couples said that pets had caused problems in their marriage. It's an incredibly common point of stress. But here's the wild part, the twist in the story. That same source of stress can actually end up making you stronger. Research from the University of Buffalo suggests that couples who work through the challenges of having a pet often end up having closer, more resilient relationships. Getting through it together really can bring you closer. So that brings us all the way back to the beginning, to that awful, painful question posed by the ultimatum. Is a choice really necessary? Does someone, the partner or the pet, always have to go? Well, based on everything we've looked at, the answer seems to be a very hopeful no. Look, the path forward isn't necessarily easy, but it is possible. It starts with real communication where both people can acknowledge the emotional dream and the physical reality. Then you add in the active home management, the medical support, and the shared compromise. When you do all that, a future where the partner, the pets, and the relationship can all thrive together isn't just a fantasy, it's a real possibility. The final question isn't whether you have to choose, it's whether you're both willing to build the solution together. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Too Real for TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.